What's going on, everyone? Welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV, and first of all, quick apologies that I wasn't able to get this out soon. I wanted to get out a lot earlier than I'd have hoped for, but unfortunately I had a bit of a mental time getting back from the Emirates this evening due to some transport issues. But I'm here doing my review now of the Arsenal v Besiktas match, and yet again another really stressful performance from Arsenal this evening. Yeah, again, like the Everton game, we're seeing a game of two halves. Arsenal, I thought we played some really good football tonight. We saw the likes of Jack Wilshere, especially Alexis Sanchez, have a really good performance, and there were an awful lot of positives to take from tonight. But yeah, again, there were quite a few negatives. I really think we're starting to see the cohesion of the team now, and we saw that especially in the latter stage of the game. Of course, I do expect this team to maybe take a while to gel because we are integrating a couple of new signings. We've got players coming back from injuries, etc. Remember, we've got Theo Walcott coming back in the coming weeks, so it's going to be really exciting to see this team really bond and gel. And I think we're seeing that at the moment. Looking at the Arsenal team, basically a very similar one to the one we saw against Everton in the weekend. However, Cazorla came in for Aaron Ramsey, who was of course suspended for this game. Looking at the team lineup, especially at some of the individual players, Cazorla, who came in, he was exquisite tonight throughout the whole game. His tracking back tonight was exceptional. For a small guy, he made some incredibly hefty tackles. I thought he had a really good game tonight, an overall really good performance. Maybe a role model for a player who I didn't think had the best stand-up performance tonight, certainly Mesut Ozil. And it looked, by what we were doing tonight, that we were playing Mesut Ozil on that left-hand side. Don't know why we're pursuing this, don't know why we're persisting with it, in fact, because it didn't work against Everton, didn't work again tonight. The thing that annoyed me slightly about Ozil tonight, I don't want to lay into it by any means because I know he can't play out on the left-hand side, but he was just getting beaten at will by players. They were just literally pushing him to one side. There were times when he wasn't willing to take a ball in the face. For example, there was a time when a Besiktas player went to kick the ball and he just moved out of the way of it, just shielded his face. You know, natural reactions, but sometimes it is a bit frustrating to see him like that, because I think every single Arsenal fan wants to see Ozil have an exceptional performance like the one Alexis Sanchez did tonight. But whilst he's out on that left-hand side, he's not going to be putting in good performances for Arsenal. That's just a fact. He needs to be reverted into that more central role alongside Jack Wilshere. On the topic of Jack Wilshere, he was phenomenal tonight. Certainly one of his better performances. Don't want to exaggerate on him too much, but I did think he certainly had one of the most promising performances that we've seen from him this season especially. I think a lot of that was helped by the fact that Aaron Ramsey wasn't in the team tonight. I think it'll be really interesting to see when Ramsey comes back into the team against Leicester in the weekend, whether these two will bond and if both of them are able to put in a really good performance alongside each other, because against Everton it didn't really work. Maybe with Wilshere having that good performance, they could both bring that into Leicester. But I think with Wilshere it's a real confidence thing. His game didn't start all that great tonight, but as he progressed through the game, I thought he got an awful lot better. We saw the Wilshere of a couple of years ago making some driving runs through the middle. Of course, there's a lot to be improved on his behalf of the game, but you know, it is really a promising signs from Wilshere. Hopefully he can push on from this and bring in some good form into Leicester, and that should really give him a confidence boost, knowing that so many fans were supporting him this evening, and it was overall just a great performance by him. Anyway, the game started off, and Arsenal, I've got to be honest, it was pretty diabolical that first 40 odd minutes. Not really in control of the game, the lack of communication. I was saying to the guy next to me how poor the lack of communication was between some of the players, especially with Ozil and Sanchez. That can be understandable considering these are two fairly newcomers to the team, or maybe not Ozil, but Sanchez, of course, newcomer to the team. The runs weren't being timed particularly well. Ozil was making some really poor passes. There was a time where he did all the right stuff, took it around his man, made a lovely run to the byline, and then he just passed it into no man's land, really. And you know, there is that's an issue that's been happening throughout the whole campaign. And yeah, we're only 4 games in, whatever, but this has been a slight issue. But like I said, the team is bonding, it's still gelling, and I'm sure this is an issue that will be overcome pretty soon. We did see Sanchez play as the striker again today, and Sanchez probably man of the match quite easily this evening. His tracking back, his work rate, he earned every single penny of his salary this evening because he worked his socks off. Absolutely incredible player we've got on our hands here, world class to say the least. And when Ozil was at the top of his game, playing in that number 10 role, and when we've got someone like Cazorla, if he can keep up these good performances, it's going to be a really exciting Arsenal team. But I do think this was pretty evident throughout the stage of the second half, where we could have gone 2-3-0 up. we need to have a striker. There are opportunities which Sanchez did miss, and a lot of that was due to tiredness, but I think if we had someone just like Remy, someone to put the ball in the back of the net, do that kind of role, because we haven't really got anyone to do that. Sanchez, predominantly, he does strike me as a winger. He does everything that you would associate a winger to do, but he did do very well tonight. Can't discredit him at all. Not got a bad word to say about the guy. He was fantastic tonight, but I still think we need a Remy type player. But if we could get someone like Falcao, Cavani, probably wishful thinking, but if we could get someone like that, it would be a massive, massive boost to the team. And now we have got this Champions League football, of course, anything could happen. It's going to be a really exciting few days in the transfer window. But regarding that first half performance, it was poor from Arsenal. There's no getting away from that. Leaving a lot of fans feeling frustrated coming into half time. But fortunately, just before the whistle, we got a goal. Excellent work by Wilshere driving into the box. Did an interchange with Mesut Ozil. Lovely work by those two, combining elegantly. Playing the ball through to Sanchez, who finished with easy, made it look so easy. Great for him to score. Hopefully this will be the first of many for him, and he can bring that into that game against Leicester. But a lovely goal, put us 1-0 up right at the end of the first half. Perfect time to score. Went into that second half. We were so obviously the more dominant side. We looked so good on the ball. Besiktas, they were very restricted at counter-attacks against us, which they were obviously. That's where they were getting their opportunities in the first half through Ozzy Cup and Demba playing against us and trying to get a counter-attack going. But unfortunately they weren't able to do that. I thought there were times when they could have scored against us. They did have that penalty shout in the first half, which as an Arsenal fan, got to hold my hands up and say we got away with that one. Because Jack Wilshere probably did give away a penalty there. It didn't look good from my point of view. I was sat in the North Bank just behind that, and it really did look like Wilshere gave away a penalty. But thankfully, the ref, he was absolutely diabolical tonight. Not just for Arsenal, but for Besiktas as well, regarding that penalty decision, which he probably should have given in favour of Besiktas. Thankfully, he didn't. But considering the number of mishaps he made our way, especially the sending off of Debussy as well, you know, there were so many poor decisions, and the booking for Szczesny in that second half, absolutely ridiculous. The standing of refereeing, I've said it so many times in videos now, I don't like to blame a performance on a referee, but in this case, it was shambolic, absolutely shambolic. The number of yellow cards, but for both teams, was ridiculous. He totally lost control of the game, had no power or dominance over it whatsoever, giving out yellow cards at will. The Szczesny one was absolutely ridiculous. He hadn't even had time to pick up the ball, but things like that make me wonder what would have happened if someone like this had been in charge of that game against Crystal Palace when Speroni had been doing the time wasting. But yeah, not much else to comment on that second half performance. Apart from we should have got a couple more goals in that. Ox had a really good chance, Sanchez had a couple of really good chances, as did Mesut Ozil, who had a really good chance. But 1-0, more than happy with that. Besiktas put up a really good fight this evening and gave absolutely everything against us. And we're through to the group stages of the Champions League. Really exciting times now. We can bring in some good players now. We've confirmed Champions League football, and hopefully this is the start of a new era for Arsenal and the start of a prosperous season. Hopefully we can bring in a striker in that time. Anyway guys, those have been my thoughts on the Arsenal v Besiktas match this evening. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like rating. Subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, as well as my own channel A.F.C Game by Game. And as always, thanks for watching guys.